Hi, my name is Megan Griffith, co-author of the Recovering from Mental Illness blog here at HealthyPlace, and today I want to talk about what I'm grateful for in my recovery progress this year. So the biggest change in my recovery this year compared to past years, because I've been working on recovering from mental illness symptoms for a while now, the biggest difference is that I finally let go of my bipolar diagnosis, finally recognized it was a misdiagnosis, and allowed myself to move on. And that was incredibly difficult. It's caused a lot of backslides. So, recovery is not linear, and just because you've had backslides doesn't mean you can't be grateful for the progress you have made. So even though letting go of that bipolar diagnosis has definitely led to lots of freakouts about different diagnoses and stuff like that, and, oh my gosh, was I faking the whole time? I'm a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. Those sort of typical spirals. Even if you experience those, you can still be grateful for the recovery you have managed to make. And honestly, even despite my backslides, I think this has been one of the biggest recovery years for me in a long time, because that misdiagnosis was holding me back, because I was seeing the world through a lens that didn't fit, if that makes sense. I realized a lot of things about my brain and myself and my understanding of the world when I finally let go of that misdiagnosis. The next thing I'm super grateful for that has come out of that is I realized those emotional episodes I was experiencing that I thought were bipolar actually have causes and triggers, and I'm working really hard to identify what those are and where they come from and ways I can mitigate them, I guess. And a big part of that has been finally addressing, my childhood, which I think is something every person should dig into at some point in their life. Because I always sort of blew it off because I had a really happy childhood. And so I just assumed none of my issues could have stemmed from that, because I grew up in the suburbs and I played on my bike and I had a good time, But I'm learning a lot about dialectics, two things existing at once. So things can be both good and bad, healthy and unhealthy, and very loving and supportive and traumatizing at the same time. So that's something I'm really grateful for in my recovery, even though it has been super difficult and is super difficult, and I make huge strides some days, and then other days I go flying backwards. And it's very tumultuous and scary, and some days I just want to let it go and just not deal with it. But I think it's really important for all of us to deal with how we grew up, because nobody's perfect. Parents, kids, guardians, and the world is rough, and that impacts us whether we want it to or not. And the sooner we accept that, the sooner we can do something about it. So those are the things I'm really grateful for in my recovery this year. I'd love to hear some of the things you're grateful for if you want to share in the comments below.